Hello everyone and welcome. I'm your host Jitsuko Toshiro. I'm away from the desk again, but I'm here to give you another update. Let me take a sip of my coffee really quick. So today's going to be interesting. I'm going to give you guys the worst case scenario with Bitcoin, okay? And right now things aren't looking too good with the market at all. So let's go ahead and take a look. I like to start looking from the weekly, and this video is only going to be on Bitcoin because right now we are at crossroads and things are getting really interesting, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to get my paintbrush here. We're zoomed out completely. What I'm seeing just from a technical standpoint is a huge M pattern, okay? These M patterns, I've gone over them multiple times over in my channel. They tend to break to the downside, and I have a target here. The way you measure the target is you take the base to the height of the M pattern, and then that will give you the measured move. So you take that and you move it down. The move's all the way down to about $9,000 to $8,000. This is basically what I've been telling everyone is the price, the line in the sand. This is the price that everyone will want to quit crypto. Trust me on this. Sub 10K will make everyone not believe Bitcoin is here to stay. You look at the weekly outlook, it looks horrible. I warned you guys that right here we have a rounding top, and it's finally playing through. You can see that clearly, and I don't think there's any hope of it coming back to reclaim 21 plus. Let's look at the EMA ribbons, and you can see on the 50 and 200 we finally had that death cross. First time in Bitcoin's history. Everything is looking bearish. I'm telling you guys, I'm warning you guys, this is the beginning of the end, but there will be a clear light once we capitulate, okay? Another thing I want to point out on the daily time frame is we might get some relief. We might get a small bounce here. You can see finally, there is some relief. We have this nice little wick. We might close the day green. The highest I think we'll go is about 21K. But other than that, there's just going to be a continuation of the pattern. There's nothing really to do here other than just sit on the sidelines and wait. Let me show you one more thing on the DXY. It sold off a lot today, but it's bouncing. So this is something that you don't want to see if you're a bull, especially for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the situation. The feds are pushing policies that are benefiting the dollar. You can see right now we're bouncing off this huge sell-off. You'd think that this would be a move to the downside for the dollar, but it's still sitting between the 50 and the 200. This is a good and healthy consolidation. And there's no one to blame here other than the feds. They want to increase interest rates. You can see, like literally, if you just Google Fed, Jerome Powell will pop up, and they basically give you a bunch of information regarding what the policies are going to be. The dollar dictates the market, and you can see right now, there's really not much to do other than sit on the sideline and wait. Bitcoin is doing its thing, and it's dropping, and I think it's going to continue to drop. One more thing I want to point out to you guys. I told you guys this is one of my targets. It's the CME gaps. You zoom out on the daily time frame, and I'm gonna hone in on this because some people are asking me, what do you mean by this gap? So this gap is basically we had a move to the upside back in 2020, and that gap never got filled. You can see right now I highlighted it with this rectangle, and it's let me explain a few things. So there's a gap here, right? In 2020 we had this gap, never got filled, and we just went all the way up to 60,000, never looked back. And there was a theory that these gaps don't have to be filled, and it's just clear skies. That was back in 2020. 3 years later, we're revisiting the possibility of this gap being closed finally. If we go to the price action now, there's two things I pointed out to you in the beginning of the video. Number one is on the weekly time frame, we have a big M pattern, and then the measured move is to 9,000. It's not coincidence that the gap is around the same price, 9,875. So that gap needs to get filled. You can see that we did have a previous gap I warned you guys about around 19,000 on the CME trading charts, and it got filled. We have another gap here at 30,000 that needs to get filled as well. But right now, it's just hard to determine which direction we'll go and which gap will fill before we continue. Right now, I think the odds are we close the gap at 9,000, then we head up and break above 30,000. I'm not saying that's going to be new all-time highs, But I do think that this $9,000 gap is going to get filled pretty soon. We are on the midst of a capitulation and a move down, or it could be a slow bleed. I'm not really too sure what's going to happen. There's a lot of speculation with Silvergate. Let me pull that up. So if you guys are new to the news, the Silvergate bank, which is a crypto bank, it finally decided to file for bankruptcy. They were insolvent, and this is just the beginning of the end, you guys. I'm telling you guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just here to update you guys on what's going on with the market. Right now, I'm sitting in a position of a short, and I've been shorting Bitcoin from 24,000. I'm sitting pretty nice in profits. I'm not closing it until we close that gap. Unless my theories somehow end up becoming unvalidated, I'm pretty much sitting pretty all the way up until we hit 9,000. I think we're going to break this $15,000 low, and I think we're going to head sub 18. So we'll probably get a bounce around 18K, but other than that, we're going sub 15. $9,000 is on the table for Bitcoin this year. Do not count that out. We did have a nice little relief rally of 50%, but now it's time to change your positions, guys. Snap back to reality. Things aren't looking good for the stock market either. DXY looks bullish. So that's pretty much it for today. This is my analysis. I have a lot of work to do. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. Back to the labs. I'm going to look for new setups. I'll let you guys know if I find anything. Take care and good luck.